So I'm with Stewart. So you gave some great demos and talked about some really interesting innovations. So first, what are some of the key messages you'd like to get across?
Well, thank you very much for saying that. Wildix, in terms of key messages, we are 100% channel in our go-to-market. So our partners are our world, and for me specifically, I look after the pre-sales engineers. So we are there in lockstep. So with our partners, with their opportunities, we're there to support them all the way from discovery to demonstrations, all the way through to contracts being signed. We've got lots of innovation. There's so much new, real sort of vanguard of technology in terms of things that we can do. So whether that's AI or even leaning on our other services that we're known for. So things like hardware that we produce, on-premise PBX, hybrid PBX, virtualized PBX. We are there to cater for the requirements of the specific opportunity, not to try and pigeonhole people into something that fits the organization's wants. It's to the customer's needs.
So you mentioned hardware. Can you talk a little bit about X-Hopper? Because that was a great way to really show off how the hardware is used with the application.
Yeah, X-Hopper is our frontline product. So what do we mean by frontline? I think for me the easiest way to talk about that is to think about somebody in a retail setting. So frontline worker could be someone who works on a shop floor in a big retailer or a small retailer. They're customer facing, they're not at a desk, and therefore it's not very easy for them to have access to like the classical UCaaS applications. With X-Hoppers, we've moved all of the functionality and we've changed the modality. So we give them a headset. We've got lots of different types of headsets depending on the role and the application. But essentially, we can have push to talk so they can keep in contact with their colleagues. We can have things like staff interaction so people can ask for help. We can broadcast messages to different groups of colleagues. It's a way of keeping people really up to date with information. And then, you know, to elevate that further, we're in this kind of agentic AI world at the moment. So we pop agentic AI right into the headset, right into the ear, so that can be used for staff. Think about things like enablement. So if you're a new colleague and you don't know every SKU, every product that's available, rather than having to try and find that really experienced member of staff, you can just simply ask the AI that's built into your headset, and it's going to give you all of the most up-to-date information. It's going to keep you briefed, it'll keep you training up to date. It really is like kind of a superhero in your ear.
And it really is unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very unique. One of the nice things about Wildix, we're so close to our partners that quite often our products the innovation comes from requirements in opportunities, and X-Hoppers is a great example of that, where somebody had an opportunity that needed very specific verticalization for retail, for those frontline workers, and X-Hoppers was born.
What about XBs? Tell us about that.
So XBs is our UCaaS application. And by UCaaS, it's not just voice. Although voice is included, so that's the channel that's there. But we've also got class sound, which is our dial tone provision. So we've got class sound in there. We've also got the ability to bring in digital channels, which we kind of think of this being really starting to blur the line between UCaaS and CCaaS. So digital channels like SMS, like WhatsApp, we're bringing more and more digital channels, and Kite, which is our version of live chat. So that's really easy to embed onto your website. And across all of these channels, whether it's voice, whether it's a digital channel, we can leverage our AI. So we've branded our AI Wilma AI, and Wilma's available across all of the channels. So increasingly, we're seeing more channels being able to be serviced at more times, which suits the customer's needs. So, you know, the big advice that we're seeing and the demand that we're being asked for is customers want us to be in the channels that they're the most comfortable in. So some people live in WhatsApp, some people still text, some people like voice calls. So you need to be, rather than trying to shoehorn people into the channels that work for your business, you have to be available across all of them where they are. And now we're able to take that a step further. we're actually going to be there when customers want to talk to us, not necessarily just during office hours, so we can extend services through automation of tasks.
And then you also have Collaboration 7.
Yes, collaboration. Collaboration is one of our core applications. They're all on a common stack. We call it WMS 7. So Collaboration 7 is kind of our entry point. So if you think about it's kind of a staircase of applications, Collaboration is the entry point. It's got lots of the UCaaS functionality that you'd expect. Then going up a level, XBs introduces additional channels and additional functionality. And then X Hoppers is the retail vertical, frontline vertical. Collaboration, XBs, X Hoppers, they all have things like agentic AI. It's available across all of our products, so it's for everyone to use.
And they're all based on the same WMS.
Yes, WMS, so Wildix Management System. This is our core code, so it's quite easy to see from our point of view if a customer came initially with a lower level of requirements. Maybe collaboration is the point that we start. As that organisation scales and grows, maybe becomes more complex and wants to offer additional services, it's a simple migration path to move to XBs. And then equally, if there's some frontline requirements, we can move to X Hoppers. So because it's on common architecture, it's very easy to move between the products as required by the client.
And you don't talk about contact center too much, but you do have what I'd say are contact center light capabilities.
Absolutely, yeah. I think as soon as the digital channels were, and this isn't new, we've been doing this for a long time now. But
just not talking about it enough.
we're not talking about it enough. But the digital channels really start to smudge the line. I think we've probably talked about this before, but there used to be a clear demarcation between UCaaS and CCaaS. When we started to introduce asynchronous channels, the digital channels, the WhatsApps, the live chats, when we start to introduce agentic AI, it really starts to smudge the lines between where does UCaaS stop and where does CCaaS start. So it's very much contact center light.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Stewart.
Thank you.